Fox News studios in New York. Well, the front page of Friday's Wall Street Journal was a story about White House officials indicating that President Obama was planning on doing less by executive order in the coming year and instead working through the normal processes of negotiating with Congress. What a novel idea. A president, after 6 years in office, suddenly discovering the constitutional process of legislation that involves all three branches of government. Look, I hope it's true, but if past performance is an indicator of future performance, I've got no reason to be overly optimistic. My own frustration with President Obama isn't merely the dramatically different point of view that I have with him between his liberal views and my conservative ones. It's as much with his squandering the opportunity that he had to do what he said he would do when campaigning for the job back in 2008. And that's to bring a new level of civility and bipartisanship to the process. Academia calls the study of politics political science. But real politics, it's not science, it's art. The science would mean things are pretty cut and dried, and that rigid laws like the law of gravity or relativity or the law of motion would be enforced. Governing is nothing like that. Governing is a true art, and while one may apply principles to the process, no 2 days are alike, no two legislative bodies are alike, and no two issues are alike. Quite frankly, governing is hard work. It requires the patience of Job, the strength of Samson, the courage of David, the perseverance of Noah, the intellect of Paul, the wisdom of Solomon, and the forgiveness of Jesus. And there is no substitute for time spent building relationships with people who don't like you and who don't want to work with you. In the words of that great political philosopher Mick Jagger, you can't always get what you want. And if you think it's all or nothing, now or never, you're going to get nothing, and you'll get it forever. Now, governing doesn't mean compromising core values, but it does mean working toward consensus instead of outright conquest. The current climate in Washington is geared toward a winner-take-all mindset. And under that view, there are very few winners and lots of losers, and especially the American people. I became a governor in 1996 and inherited the legislature made up of 89 Democrats to 11 Republicans in the House, and 31 Democrats to only 4 Republicans in the Senate. Of the 7 statewide constitutional officers, I was the only Republican. It was by far the most lopsided legislature in the country, more than Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, or even California. But as difficult an environment as it was, it really was a blessing. Because in such an atmosphere, over the next 10.5 years, I learned how to govern. Getting tax cuts, shrinking the executive branch, reforming welfare and education, fighting long-entrenched corruption, and passing substantial protections for human life weren't easy. And yet learning how to do it was incredibly valuable. It means taking your disagreements with legislative leaders into private and not trying to negotiate on the front pages of the newspapers. It also means not gloating when you win and not pouting when you lose. It means behaving like an adult. Now, we haven't seen much of that out of Washington, but I would welcome the approach. So here's hoping that in the new year of 2015, we see the fine art of governing. And if not, I'll say what parents often say to their kids: don't make me come up there.